You want an agenda?
That one right here in the corner. Yes, sir.
All. We'll do it after this.
Yeah. One John sent us.
Yeah. That was that good, pretty good deal. The Sheriff's Department got some like that.
Okay.
That'd be for like that blacker wall.
So it's coming up Thursday. A few things. Community service building. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Wall.
I did. Oh, okay. Got some good photos, but if you have anything, I'll reach out to you and see. Okay, wait, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, changes down there. It was, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna be, yes. Fourth away.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah. They're excited. Yeah. They're motivated. Me and Dan's got it.
It's scary. Yeah, throughout, it was like, wow, this place, every time you go there, it's different and nicer.
Nice, yeah.
Mark,
Got DHS is out there done a great job of labeling everything
Oh, they got it.
with the rooms.
Yeah.
So you know where everything is.
That's what they want. They went and measured to make sure they would fit in.
well, that's good there.
I mean, they, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I'm saying it wasn't.
Oh. Yeah. and just- before you go, give me to all of us. Everyone in the update. Thank you.
No, up to these.
It's usually user error.
This was you there.
This is just stuff from the ones you counted development. Oh, that's good.
Where?
If you want to.
Is that?
Thank you.
Good morning.
Then you change.
I have.
Bring it up. Bring it over to you.
Steve, you can take.
You got some back on.
Go ahead.
No, if you could give it here.
These men are in here.
Thanks, Steve.
This one was great.
You have to pay for it. John Deere. John Deere truck. Bill came through 220.
Well, it's 9:30. All those that so choose, please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the meeting to order with everyone present. The meeting is being recorded. If you choose not to be recorded, please leave. First item on the agenda this morning, Mark and Andrea Ondrashek, Neste Valley Campground discussion.
Going to come up there?
Yeah.
Like,
However you want.
We are here to discuss an important matter that affects our family and the future of the property we've worked hard to build. Our family purchased the property at 2298 Town Line Road, directly south of the Neste Valley Recreation Area in 2012. Since then, we've made significant improvements to our property and currently pay over $7,300 in property taxes annually. In May of 2016, we built our home there, seeking the peace and privacy that rural living offers. However, in 2021, we were informed by the Winneshiek County Conservation Board that they plan to build a campground very close to our property. It is less than 600 feet from our backyard to the property line. As parents of 3 children, the presence of overnight campers near our backyard raises concern regarding safety. Additionally, it threatens to completely alter the privacy and serenity we have enjoyed since moving there. To help illustrate our concerns, we've included photos that show the proximity of the proposed campground to our property, including from our living room window, the children's play area in the backyard, and our deck. In 2021, we made an offer to purchase about 15 acres of tillable land from the Conservation Board. This offer would have provided them with funds to relocate the campground to another part of the 179 acres they own in the Neste Valley area, which would have helped us avoid this conflict. Unfortunately, we were told that the funding already allocated to the property meant the plan could not be changed. However, after meeting with the Conservation Board in 2021, we were told that they would consult with engineers to make adjustments to the campground's design. This statement has led us to believe that modifications to the plan are indeed possible and that the project could be altered to avoid infringing on residential areas. On March 7th of this year, so just a few days ago, machinery was dropped off at the Neste property, sparking our concern and prompting us to contact Barb from the Conservation Board. She informed us that the machinery was for the water retention project on the dry run stream. However, given the lack of communication since our initial opposition of 2021, this development has reignited our concerns about the proposed campground. Over the last 4 years, as we've continued to think about the proposed campground, our opposition has only grown. We are here today to seek clarity on a few points and to express our firm opposition to the proposed campground. While we understand that the construction of the campground may be funded by grants and donations, we are concerned that the operation and maintenance of the campground will be funded by taxpayer dollars. Also, if as stated, it will be a long time before this campground is built, we question why taxpayer funds are being spent on planning and project development for something that may not ever happen. Specifically, we are concerned about the costs associated with ongoing meetings and planning of the Conservation Board. We kindly ask the Board of Supervisors the following questions and understand that you may not have the answers to these at this meeting, but we would appreciate this information after the meeting if possible. So I just have a few questions. First one is the profitability of the existing campgrounds. Are the two current campgrounds operated by Winneshiek County profitable? Do they generate net profit? And again, I don't know if you know these answers, but just some to kind of propose to you. The financial shortfall. If the existing campgrounds are not profitable, who covers the financial gap each year? Are these funded by taxpayer dollars? The need for the third campground. Are the two existing campgrounds at full capacity on a regular basis, making the addition of the third campground a necessity? Fourth, alternative locations. If a third campground is deemed necessary, have all other potential locations that are owned either by Winneshiek County or the Winneshiek County Conservation Board been considered? Has it been determined that the proposed location, which is in close proximity to our home, as the best and only option? And last question is, if the proposed campground is to be located closer to Decorah, has there been a study conducted to determine if a campground closer to Decorah on a gravel road with no direct access to the bike trail and just near a small stream would be more successful than the current campground at Lake Meyer that is around a 33-acre lake? In conclusion, we are firmly opposed to the construction of a third campground in Winneshiek County. However, if it is ultimately determined that a third campground is necessary and profitable, we are firmly opposed to its construction on the land adjacent to our property. We respectfully request that the Board of Supervisors direct the Conservation Board to cease further planning and development of this project, especially as it pertains to our residential area, and to consider the reallocation of taxpayer resources towards this matter. Thank you. So that's what we had.
Very much.
Have you met with the conservation?
We
Board?
did. When I said in here, we met with her in 2021. They were out at Neste and we went there to the meeting and expressed our concerns. And then at that time, she said that they were going to redo the proposed,
I believe some of it was changed.
and that's
My conversation with Barb
right. And we do have a meeting set up with her on Thursday.
Thursday, that's what she said.
Yeah. And I guess our concern now is more, I think maybe a couple of years ago, we were a little bit more willing to hear those changes. Now we would just much rather it not be there at all with how close it is to our home. And I feel if it's needed, if it is a need in Winneshiek County that there needs to be a third campground, has there been other places that have been looked at, not only that the Conservation Board owns, but that Winneshiek County itself owns, like if it is truly a need that it has to happen in Winneshiek County. And I guess those were some of those questions that I had of,
Or just even other locations on the property, back by the house more on the other side of the driveway. There's all sorts of land that wouldn't be 500 feet away from our property and wouldn't be able to see it from our living room. And yeah, just kind of a concern of ours.
Seems
Yeah,
to
there
me this would be a conversation for your board first.
yeah, we're gonna go there too,
When did the conservation acquire that property?
in 2016. December of 2016.
Barb was talking about some tree plantings that they're.
They have planted some stuff there.
Some more proposed ones and stuff like this. And it's probably a lot better if you get it from her instead of from me. So
Right.
probably screw that up in the translation.
Yeah, and we will go meet with her and we'll go to the board of,
And some of about what was gonna be put in with the driveway and everything right now, that's grant money that will run out at the end of the year. That's why there was a push for it right now. There is no, if it does proceed on, there is no real money set aside in order to do the electric, you know, the sewer, the shower house, all that stuff. So if it does continue on, this thing's gonna continue at a snail's pace at best.
and I guess that is too, just to, you know, if that is what's gonna happen, you know, why continue to even try for it? I guess that's kind of my,
The tourism to this region, recreational tourism is a huge impact on Winneshiek County monetarily.
yeah, and I
Because we do
understand
have
that.
a campground, and it is connected to the eventual bike trail. It's a long-term plan.
You can't say profitability. I mean, the library isn't profitable. I mean, there's so many things.
And I understand that.
But they're
Just based on profit.
we gotta give money. This here is not. By the state does not, we do not have to give money to the conservation board. That's our goal. It is not mandated by the state.
I think that's not a conversation we're having.
That's-
Go to the board.
Just-
Yeah, and we will.
But there,
And I will say, Andrea had called, she called me. She said she had called Barb 3 times, didn't get an answer, so she called me, wanted to know what she should do. I said, well, if you want to come to the Board of Supervisors, I'll gladly call up to the auditor's office and get on the agenda and voice your opinion here. She's got every right to do that.
I'm saying she doesn't. I'm just
I know.
saying,
Yeah,
some of the concerns I definitely understand.
Is there a way that, I mean, could you provide, I'm curious, as are the campgrounds, the other 2 campgrounds at full capacity all year
We
long?
need more camping in Winneshiek County.
no.
That's one of those that probably be for conservation board to answer. They have all
Meet
the
with the
numbers.
They do have all, she would have all the, okay.
if
Get the numbers.
you do a simple Google search, there are 12 campgrounds in Winneshiek County. 12. Conservation has 2, Decorah has 7, the rest are private campgrounds. There's Riverside Park Campground in Spillville, that's nowhere near capacity. There's not capacity, I don't believe we have capacity out
Well,
in Lake Mountain, so we have a lot of campgrounds in this community.
but part of its location. I mean. you
And
can
that-
say- you can say parking- Oh, let's put in a big parking lot over here for a business that's 10 miles away. You got plenty of parking, but it's not where you want it to be. So
I totally
if there's
understand.
a recreational trail going through and you want to have some parking or camping, I guess I could see the point of why they would want to do that. But I'm not saying you don't have concerns. This is
Would
something.
you enjoy it being that close to your backyard?
No,
I own a lot of property and there's a lot of things I don't enjoy. And it's just, that's how life sometimes, unfortunately.
And we bought this property with the peacefulness that we had, not knowing that there was ever gonna be a campground. We moved there, not thinking that would ever be a thing. So I guess I'm just expressing my concern that within 500 feet of our backyard is gonna be people sleeping, staying overnight, all of those things, and our children aren't gonna be able to enjoy our backyard anymore. That's all I'm concerned about, so.
I don't know what the intention inspired. For conservation.
Yep, I meet with them.
Gladly love to have everybody come and sit around the table and we can talk about it.
And that's after your meeting with Barb and or the conservation board.
Back here.
You can-
Okay.
you can
Everybody
come back
come
and
back to
talk
the table.
us.
At a meeting like this or?
Yeah, bring it back, yeah, to the
That- that-
supervisor meeting, yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Next item on the agenda, Michael Kueny, the county engineer, road department update. We had a substitute today. Morning, Mike.
That's why Mike is at an SS4A meeting across the driveway here, so. Paper here, the copies for you. So pass them around.
Mike, just you today, not Michael?
Just Mike.
Just Mike.
Of the mics.
Yeah, there's Mike Wise, old
Mike
Mike,
1, Mike 2, Mike
Meany, and
3.
big Mike. Yep.
Got a pretty good chance of getting the mic out of the engineer's office.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't hire another Mike for superintendent. That would have been really confusing. So what we got here is Mike is at the meeting next door at the SS4A going on. He said, you're all welcome to come over afterwards. They're going 30 to 11:30, so I don't know what your time is. Winneshiek County is a finalist for the Build Grant. W14 south of Fort Atkinson was submitted for the project. Service Bureau submitted to the federal government on January 29th, and that's kind of the last we know, same as last week. For the railroad flat car bridge study coordination to occur this week. In working with Chuck Britson, we discovered the need to have bridge to box inspections done on a 5-year increments. Agreement will be forthcoming on that. Subdivision data gathering or gathered. Cost study will be forthcoming. Maintenance activities for 2025 being coordinated. Contract rock bid prices to be sent out to this week at 6,500 tons per blade district will be applied this year, plus some high volume roads are being rocked. High volume roads include Conover Road, Town Line Road, River Road, Meadowlark Road, and A14. Specific sections only. Only 5,000 tons per district was placed last year, so he did increase that. Bridge 126 variance requested 2 weeks ago. We met with the DNR last week, and we will meet with the Army Corps of Engineers this week for SHPO clearances. Third week of road embargo notifications. So far, we have 50 permits filed. Length of embargoes is unknown at this time. Crew overtime used on Wednesday and Thursday for a winter storm. The county received 10 applicants for foreman, 9 internal and 1 external. Currently looking at 3 interviewees per the maintenance superintendent's idea. Interview times will be determined. The DOT rejected the first submittal of the 2026 budget. Small edits need to be made and resubmitted. Submittal will be done on Monday or Tuesday of this week. The bridge crew opening was posted on Monday for internal candidates. Internal candidates, last day for preferred selection on the bridge crew is tomorrow. If no internal candidates want to change to the bridge crew by today at 4 p.m., an opening will be posted in the press and to social media. Roadside mower positions currently have 8 applicants. The optimum number of mowers is being mulled over between the engineer, shop foreman, maintenance superintendent, and district foremen. And again, that SS4A grant meeting, why Mike couldn't be here, is in the courthouse. The Iowa County Engineers Association paid for a consultant to review data and present material on where the county's most hazardous spots are. This was done for the 97 of the 99 counties in Iowa. Shop Security camera software was installed onto the engineering administration machines on Friday. New hardware to follow in the coming months. Jeff Pill's situation being administered, kind of the same as you must have been told last week. And the Neste Valley coordination is to occur this week, being Barb and Mike, I guess. And that's kind of what I have for the long and short of it that Mike has.
One thing, Mike, would you, ask Mike to put it on your agenda to give us some frontline stakes on the DHS building out on Highway 52. I don't want to put the sign that we're having made out in the county, out in the state right away. And it would be helpful if you could identify those front corners.
Yeah, we can get those marked for you. I'll tell Mike about it.
Yeah, that way we know that we were in the proper place.
Okay.
Don't want to get fined.
I don't really want to put it in the state right away.
All right, we will do. Anything else?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go with the engineers department. Chris Riley sent me a message complaining about the railroad tracks on the Middle Kelmer Road. And I forwarded it to Mike and he gave him a response. I'm just letting the rest of the board know. And the railroad intersections have been issues. And there are a lot of poor ones in the county, but getting the railroad to do something about it is another issue. We've been going through it in the city of Washington for almost a year, and we promised to do a couple of it this year. So I don't know what we can do, rather than maybe forward Mike, the gentleman's name that we've been talking to.
Another Mike.
No, this is a Larry that we talked to, but if I give it to Mike Kueny, maybe he can have a conversation with this Larry that we've been dealing with for the city. So make an acknowledgement on that. So you're good to go. Consent?
Yes, we have claims. We have board minutes. We have VA monthly report. And we have a liquor license application for the Festina Community Center. I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion? If none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimous.
This is more for you to take a look at.
Looks like we got the loader. Set for roads,
Yes,
200 and some thousand.
that is correct. We already got it signed with them.
No, that was for Steve.
Okay.
See,
On the community services building, Mark and I went out to DHS on Thursday, and they have all the desks that they want moved, all labeled, and the destinations put right on, so we know which offices to move everything into. We're securing the trailer from recycling, so plan to start moving stuff this week.
Is road crew gonna do that, or
Well,
are we gonna do it?
Looking for volunteers, Mark.
Did you volunteer, Mike?
I'm going.
I saw you packing those boards and you did pretty good.
So. We don't have to move it all over these few trips, make it a lot easier. Any reports?
policy board third Wednesday and just had the STV grant. We agreed, go with what the tech committee had recommended, so voted on that and passed that. So. That was pretty much for the next 5-year program, basically, is what it wants to.
Northwest Iowa Workforce Development Board meeting, and that was primarily just to select an auditor so they can audit all of their financials for the state, which they hadn't done in a number of years for whatever reason.
Interesting.
We had that meeting with the hospital. That was about what it comes down to for public health is, he said, give us what you want us to provide. We can give you some figures on it. And if you like it, the numbers we give you, we can go ahead, or so we don't.
Yeah, I was unable to attend that meeting with Shirley due to a family matter. But my take on it is that they want a list of what we would like services potentially and what they could offer them for, whether it's
Yeah.
needed services or non-needed services. I mean,
Basically what that meeting was a good conversation, and they reiterated the fact that, you know, they are a business, and the only work they can do is payers, insurance payers and Medicaid, Medicare. They do not provide home healthcare services for non-payers. They do charitable work when it's a major surgery and things like that, but that's vastly different than public health.
Well, that's where my take is, that if we wanted them to provide that home health factor, what cost would it be a burden to the county? I mean, can they do it for less than what it's costing us right now? That's a
we pay
number,
them.
if we ask.
If we can ask for that number.
That
was the question I wanted to know. I asked somebody privately.
That's exactly what he said. He just said, come up with what you want us, services you want us to provide. We'll give you $1, what it would cost. And if you want us to go ahead and do it, we do it. Otherwise, I mean, it was just cut and dry. It's plain and simple.
So as we discussed last.
They didn't say if you want us to do it, we'll do it. They said,
No,
present this and we'll get back to you.
And they said they'll give us $1 cost on what it would cost them to provide it for us.
If they can.
Here's the services that Barb said were being delivered. And here's the cost per county that was omitted off of that Ben got from all the auditors when we asked about that last year. That board meeting, I'm disappointed because we had a discussion here that we had 2 members of our board attend, and we had no members of the public health board there. And here we have 2 hospitals that are providing services, not just WinMed, but also Gunderson for these other counties. And we're not approaching this, in my opinion, in the correct manner. We should be, the Board of Health is the financial responsible entity of that department, just like the auditors or the assessors board is, et cetera. And those members were not there. That meeting was not a valid meeting in my mind because they're not getting the answers as a governing board that they're responsible to do. We need a meeting with both Gunderson and WinMed with the board directors. We don't need the bookkeeper. We don't need another nurse there. We don't even need the director there because that's a board decision that's supposed to be made by the board. The board needs to be directed to prepare and request for proposal. That doesn't mean we're accepting it, but that means we're getting it. Because when we have this kind of numbers right here, and the public can have all of these numbers, this is what the surrounding counties pay for public health. This is her list of the services provided and which of these counties provide that. And the ones that are being provided by Gunderson on this list are hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s per year less than what we're paying. And these services are still checked off. So we may have something that we have to discuss further when it comes to home health care for the indigent, but we're not meeting. We've got an average of the counties that use other hospitals of around $140,500. We're paying $740 for the same services. And Fayette County was paying $512. That's too big of a difference for the public to be able to, for us to be able to justify when we're having all of the pressure.
I think this is
Property tax.
a good idea to put back as an agenda item. And now we're kind of talking about committee reports.
Yeah.
But
I think an agenda item is a good idea, but I do want to push back. all of our department heads can certainly go and have conversational meetings. There's more to this and there's more facts to this that we can discuss under an agenda item that you're not privy to. So let's have this on as an agenda item so you can have all the facts before things are said.
And just, excuse me, Steve, I did bring it up to, before the meeting started Friday, I brought up, point was, at our board meeting, was two
Exactly.
supervisors,
Two board.
Krista, and two board members from the public health. No board members from public health.
And,
I was,
and WinNet was there.
and Whitman was there, and that was at the hospital, so they were there. But yeah, was nothing about a nurse and the bookkeeper. So I guess
Again,
it was
there's
a very,
things that can be discussed when this is an agenda item.
yep. But I just
You
given
could-
my committee, I've given my committee report.
Krista thought that Dan and I were going to that meeting as planned and as agreed to at our meeting last Monday. So she could not have called you to attend, Mark, because then it would have been an open meeting because three of us would be there. So that's why she didn't call you as a health board member. Do you know, Steve, if she tried to call other health board members at the last minute? Because she got wind of this meeting last week.
She said
Do you,
she-
stop,
Oh,
stop. Do you know
We're
if
not
she
gonna-
called board members? You do not. So
That's not
let's
the question.
discuss this on an agenda item when you have the facts.
This was a board decision last week, sure. Board would meet with the board, would meet with the board of the hospital. None of which occurred.
Let's get
And a
the
meeting
facts
occurred.
and put it on the agenda.
Okay, Shirley, I asked her. She said she called the chair and the vice chair and they could not make it. And that was the end of that conversation. So she contacted two board members, just to clarify.
And how many board members are there?
Five.
And you couldn't go because you were in violations. There were two that didn't do potential options.
and that's why I asked Mark to replace me, because I knew he was on the board, but, we will set this up as an agenda item and we will continue the discussion then. On another committee report, I had Winneshiek County Development and Tourism. I gave you guys copies of what they gave us with all the updates. And then a proposal for a possibility of a new item that they want to implement. A revolving loan fund through there. Our county has one. And it's just an idea going forward. They applied for a grant to see if they could get this program up and going. So it's just kind of reading material for you guys. You can take it in whenever you want. Any other committee reports?
Have a hawk meeting this afternoon.
I've got several meetings this week that I can report on them next week. Just reporting that I have meetings this week.
VA met on Wednesday. I usually go to that, see if there's anything. Business as usual.
I did forward to Ben, CSS when it dissolves, sunsets and dissolution, there'll be assets and how those will be divided, because in the 28B agreement, it says the assets go back to the counties that are members of. But the state might want them, so it'll could be a little tricky. But I sent that to Ben and he and Andy can figure that out as it starts to get closer. End of June is the sunset of that program.
Those two miscellaneous items which are next on the agenda. Certificate of cost allocation plan.
And here it is, the certificate of cost allocation plan. This will require voice vote. Yep, agreed upon. It's like,
Was that 60 pages?
virtually you got it just right there, what you see.
Anyone want to take action on that?
I'd move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the certification of cost allocation plan. Any further discussion? None. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Next up, appoint to general relief director.
Well, we received the email that indicated that Martin Arndt has been, you'll appoint him because they had somebody resign. Sharon Henry has left the agency, so Martin Arndt will be the general relief director for Chickasaw, Howard, Fayette, and Winneshiek counties. And I would imagine any background was probably emailed up.
I move to appoint, not as the general relief director.
Second that.
A motion and a second to appoint Martin Arndt.
Martin Arndt, A-R-N.
As general relief director. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Next up, we have an appointment to Historic Preservation Commission.
Yes, Winneshiek County Historic Preservation Commission received a resignation notice from Jamie Hansen. And of the applicants, they had settled on Greg Banney as Greg Banney, Banney. He had served on the Preservation Commission sometime back in the 90s, I guess. And it was a known person to them. Here's the application, and that's the person they'd like to
I
appoint.
motion to
Jamie,
approve that appointment.
Jamie moved. She was an active member of the Historic Commission for quite a while, but she moved up to Minnesota, so she's no longer residing in the county.
Greg used to be the treasurer of when he was on that previously, so he'd be great. So I motion to approve him.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to appoint Greg Banney to the Historic Preservation Commission. Any further discussion? None, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
As opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimous.
Was I right, Mark? And my guess is about somewhere in the 90s that he was on there.
For sure.
Well, the next item on the agenda is Andy Manning, our county attorney. Good morning, Andy.
And
So you guys were sending me a not so subtle message not to show up.
We just started keeping that locked, so there's only one entrance for
Gotcha.
for safety.
I understand.
Thank you.
What do you have for me?
You have for us.
I think I've sent everything that I have for you. You've got the DHS building sale. I think all those documents have gone through and are signed and hearing set. Sent Ben a resolution on elected official salaries increase. That probably needs to be taken care of when you do your budget hearing or before. Not sure I have anything else. There's a 2080 with the city and the county and sheriff's office exchanging the space down there for the range and the shooting house and all that kind of stuff. And that there was a question raised by the auditor about whether they are actually paying anything because there's been kind of an agreement the last few years that they are just, it's equal value and it's a wash. So I think to clean that up, we'll do an amendment to the 2080 and have you look at that and just make it read the way it's actually working down there.
I just have a question on some of the emails we received regarding open records. Should we be working on a consistent policy for open records requests and open records fees?
We can review that policy, but the policy has been whoever is responsible for it comes to me and says, okay, is this something that we're required to produce, first of all? And that individual works either with John or someone to get the documents pulled off. And I don't know that you can have a consistent, this is what the value is going to be without knowing what the request is. We can review that, take a look at it, see if we can come up with something that is more uniform, but that's been our practice over the
Was
last.
it something we could post on the website so people, when they do an open records request, this expectations are there maybe?
I think your problem is that one size does not fit all.
But we can't charge for like the benefits and things like that of a person's wages. You can only do,
The
right,
base value.
yeah.
And that's gonna change if the request comes to you, or it comes to me, or it goes to Tony. I don't think you can put the specific number out there.
And just for the public's notification, we work for you, the public. So all of their emails and texts and any papers we have up here are yours. They're taxpayer forms. So we need to be accountable and transparent, and we work through Andy for that. And there's never been, but it's always workable. If you need open records, they're accessible. It may be a fee for that. Depends on the time put into it.
And some are easier to recover than others
That's
as
okay.
well, which may take and extend the time frame that we're dealing with.
On another note, I thought the response from Jeffrey Peel's attorney was kind of humorous, and that the gate was installed and didn't work.
Mhm. Well, I'm following up.
Because I don't know, I haven't been out there since you haven't either. Is there a base where that would have been mounted to if it was installed?
I had no idea what the gate was gonna look like, whether it was gonna have, if you were gonna put some concrete piers in and attach or sink the posts into that. But what's out there now is what the gates were hanging on originally. So I think we'll see if the new and improved gate shows up and gets installed.
And that was gonna be a solar powered gate or
I don't know. I mean, I
some
don't know that you'd have enough battery life in a solar powered gate. Unless you're putting a lot of panels out there, because it's,
I think that would
There's
take
a lot
a
of
pretty good
juice, yeah.
amperage to run that gate.
traffic through there. So
but there's a house there.
I know, but anyway,
I mean, it is, let's see what we get for response. And yeah, he's trying to sell that property, so dealing with this is something that's gonna have to be done, I think, to make that.
Yeah.
To take that step.
whoever buys it's gonna wanna know the deal. What they're buying into.
Anything else? All right.
Your time.
Thanks.
Thanks, Andy.
Just on another note, since you just talked about solar. Down at Sunflower, that flower that they have out in front of it, that is the solar panels. And I don't know if anybody's ever paid attention to it, but it rotates with the sun during the day. And then at night, the petals close, and they have bristles on the inside of them that actually clean the panels every time it goes open and shut. And then that feeds another system inside the building that is hooked into a generator and a battery pack in case the electricity goes out, it feeds part of that building. There's only 2 systems like it in the Midwest, and one of them is down there. So it was just an interesting note that I kind of forgot to bring up, but
On that, I did attend an online seminar that regional people put on about solar and energy and stuff like that. And one of the local people had reached out about, would like to sit down and talk. We have desire to do something. There are still, they don't have tax credits, but there's money that would be coming back to us. So it's still advantageous to do that if we would want to look into it. And it's also brought up by somebody that, well, maybe we could partner with some of the renters, if they have a long-term lease, that they could help apply for grants to fund some of that, like down the community services building.
One of our big users would be the jail.
And the other building that the jail should be looked at, potentially shops.
We gotta wait to see if we get the grant money from the recycling.
So, well, no.
First,
But
if we don't get that, then there's no use going any other where.
Well, it potentially is. I mean, it's a long.
Well, if we don't get that 50,000 or 40-some thousand there, why are we gonna go wasting our time doing any other?
We're not wasting our time because long-term, they still are gonna produce and
Savings.
produce the.
But
It's
we're
not
not gonna get cost
not as quick.
up front.
It's not a quick payoff.
No.
That's the deal. And as energy costs keep going up, which they are going to, as told to us, it's maybe more advantageous to look at a longer game than a short game on it, so. But anyway,
Yeah.
I think it's worth pursuing and
No. Does anyone have anything else?
Nope, I'm good. Move to adjourn.
Just one quick thing before we do. We've talked a lot about the matrix and so forth, so I just ran some calculations that everybody might be interested in of the cost per hour for officials and staff. And this is taking the information from our public report of the amount of wages paid to every employee, hours worked, health insurance costs, benefits provided, to come up with a cost per hour for what we're paying the various staff. These are not people that are within the matrix.
these are the elected officials.
These are elected officials and their staff.
Okay, well, that would be for our review. If you want,
That's review.
put it on the agenda or anything you can for discussion. Okay. Have a motion
Second.
and a second for adjournment. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, meeting has been adjourned.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
What you did? Hey, you. Taking it easy since the big vote.
Every time
About 1975.
I don't know. Spring, we're all getting this. I don't know. Yeah.
We probably.
So we got it ahead of time, but let's go.
Have you read this? Maybe I'm. Maybe I'm out.
Which time do you want to put on the stand?
So we just put it this week.
And also not. This.
We got it. You know, it is, well, because here's, and it's not about the product stuff.
So I think a lot of people came out as figuring jobs. And they were speaking staff. He's.
No, it's.
So instead of Fridays, Not really doing anything.
Through this. It was set up as an.
Did he have?
Ideally.
And that's some.
Yeah, which-
Saw that. I saw the video. Like, did you, can you not hear that?
That's true.
Well,
It's just something that's. You know.
Well, thanks, Steve.
Is that ever going to be done?
Very, very friendly.
That's just to give you some.
Well, you'll be back for regular programming next week.
There was a huge group. And.
Yeah.
I was at your Fires. And I don't know.
Yeah.
That's so many things that like this.
That's.
You wouldn't talk about any issue that wasn't on whatever committee you were doing. You wouldn't talk about anything. I don't know anything about that. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's your job to know about that.
Yeah,
Well,
just to let you know. It's like.
I heard he had said something kind of brash about. We support information.
Yeah, and you got oh, yeah. Yeah.
There are only two supervisors in the room now, so we can close down the meeting. Thank you.
Obviously.